Hello, friends. Hello! Hi from me and my head vein. Oh, there we go. It's popping. I have been waiting for about 20 minutes for my refrigerator to stop running, and it hasn't stopped. So you know what? I'm just going through... I cut my hair in a fit of boredom, and it's very obviously uneven. Oh, I'm just gonna try to curl that. That's fine. I don't care. I'm just gonna film this because, oh, I thought it stopped running. But no, my refrigerator's running, so I apologize for the background noise. My neighbor has just started doing lawn work. I live in a city, but I can control what I read. And I am currently reading another book, currently doing it, and I figured this would be a great book to do a vlog as it's unraveling, right? Piqued my interest, hated the cover when Katie sent it to me, was confused. It is, of course, The Jeweler. Dang, what a book. I started this last night. It's really not a lengthy book by any means, but I like this. I like this. For some reason, it's giving me strike your heart vibes. It's giving me that sort of enigmatic protagonist female wandering through life. You're not really sure what's gonna happen. It's like on the precipice of something weird. What's happening is she is a jeweler. She sells at a local market in town. I'm assuming that she's been in this town her whole life. It centers on like 7 locals and her relationship that she has to them. She helps her friend clear out the remnants of deceased people's houses. What I'm drawing right now is that this is kind of a description on people not living for themselves. She's putting so much emphasis on trying to understand what people were doing when they were alive as she checks out their houses, and it's really not any sort of discussion into her life. So I think it's like this portrayal of a very blank slate, just wandering through and living through other people's lives. So that's what I'm getting out of this, but I just feel something is bubbling. Something is bubbling underneath, and I feel like it's gonna be weird, which I'm into. Also, I took a little note of one of the best subtle insults I've ever heard, and it says, he didn't exactly stink, but was one of those people whose personal scent was broadcast louder than others. Come at me, and I'm gonna hurl that "you stink" insult at you. So I will keep you guys in the loop about this. Oh, what else? What else? What else? I do actually have some recent acquisitions. One second. Oh my God. Oh, baby. My knees. Okay, so back at you. Yeah, I have some recent acquisitions. 3 of them were just, yeah. My first one is Oliver Sacks, an anthropologist on Mars. My friend that was staying with us, he was one of the people that I listened to Murakami's What I Talk About When I Talk About Running, and she had mentioned that she enjoyed reading Oliver Sacks when she was younger, and I said, I haven't read any of his things, and she said, well, let me get you a book. So she got me a book. Let me summarize it. To these 7 paradoxical tales of neurological disorder and creativity, Oliver Sacks brings the profound compassion and ceaseless curiosity that made Awakenings and The Man Who Mistook His Wife for a Hat international bestsellers. He transports us into the uncanny worlds of his subjects, including an artist who loses his ability to see or even imagine color, a surgeon who performs delicate operations in spite of the compulsive tics and outbursts of Tourette syndrome, and Temple Grandin, an autistic professor who holds a PhD in animal science but is so bewildered by the complexity of human emotion that she feels like an anthropologist on Mars. Can't wait to read that. Can't wait to get some knowledge, some neurological knowledge. And then I found this goodie. I wasn't intending on buying this, but it was a bargain book for $7.99. Eileen by Ottessa Moshfegh. I heard mixed reviews about this book. It's a relatively new-ish release within the last couple of years, and it was $7.99. And you know why? It's a shelf-worn book. My idea is that this is about a enigmatic woman again who is a little bit strange, which I love, because that is also how I would describe myself. So we'll see. And then Oleg is always looking for books for me on the side of the road. And last night he texted me and said, hey, I found something on the side of the road. Do you want it? And I said, yeah, I do. Yes, I do. And it was Redhead by the side of the road. I didn't even know that I would segue into that so well. But this is Micah Mortimer is a creature of habit, a self-employed tech expert, superintendent of his Baltimore apartment building, cautious to a fault behind the steering wheel. He seems content leading a steady, circumscribed life. But one day his routines are blown apart when his woman friend, he refuses to call anyone in his late 30s a girlfriend, tells him she's facing eviction. And then a teenager shows up at Micah's door claiming to be his son. These surprises and the ways they throw Micah's meticulously organized life off kilter risk changing him forever. An intimate look into the heart and mind of a man who finds those around him just beyond reach. A funny, joyful, deeply compassionate story about seeing the world through new eyes. Cute. I think that's actually a 2020 release, if I'm correct. Which was like 98% of the reason that I had Oleg pick it up. Yep, 2020. So I'm happy that someone just put it on the side of the road. Or maybe that's indicative of it's not a great book. So yeah, guys, that was long. It was long. I'm sorry. The refrigerator stayed off. That's great. Okay, I'm going to be going to a bookstore today. I have to pick up something special for KD, and I will keep you guys posted. Bye. Beautiful day in New York City. Love to see it. Yep.
Yeah, I took it to the mansion.
Great shadow, first of all. Can we talk about the fact that this is an advanced reader's copy they were just giving away? This is literally a book that I have been looking for. Okay, what? All right. And then, oh my God, let me see if I can do this one-handed. Struggling. And then, I'm sorry. Again, literally brand new book. Now I have to donate some books then, you know, give back to who has given me. How great. I've been actually thinking about reading this. Everybody's talking about it. It's blowing up. And I cave to any sort of influence. So yeah, excited, guys. What a great way to start the day. Good afternoon, good morning. How are you guys doing? I am looking like a very small handbag designer in these glasses, but I don't mind. I'm sweating in the sun. It is hot as hell in New York. I think it's like 93 degrees right now. I actually don't need my sunglasses. but I just wanted to give you guys a little update on what is going on as far as reading. I finished The Jeweler last night. It was good. I was a little bit surprised at the way that the story went. I don't know, Katie, you're giving me some funky gems to work with. Yeah, I was impressed with the writing. I just was really surprised by what was going on in the story. I'll touch on about that a little bit more. I think that if I was reading it and it was like, if it was raining outside, it would make much more sense. That had an incredible melancholic tone to the way that the story was portrayed. Lots of themes of motherhood, lots of themes of inherent guilt, the way that we process things from our past, but I thought it was pretty good. Listen, you saw that I picked up some books off the side of the road yesterday, and I couldn't help myself. I had to start Yes, Daddy. And yes, I am about 3/4 of the way through. I didn't think that it would enrapture me as much as it has, but ooh, baby. It follows a 25-year-old guy, just moved to the city from Ohio. He has a lot of repressed emotions from his childhood. He begins a relationship with a famous playwright, and then things go downhill very, very fast. I can't say I was expecting it to be as graphic as it is, but boy, she's a graphic one. The problem with it is that I know that this is probably going on in the world, which is even a harder pill to swallow. So yeah, I'll probably finish that by today. I just wanted to give you guys a little update. It's beautiful. I'm getting some freckles, got some straight hair. This straight hair was in an effort to see if I could even out the horrible cut that I did, but after I straightened it, I realized that it wasn't that uneven. So I don't know, my curly hair was deceiving me, which is not something that's uncommon. Okay. Austin Powers, baby. Austin Powers. Groovy, baby. Beep, 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 beep. I'm coming in with an iced coffee. It's hot. What a day. I'm wearing a scarf as a shirt because it's that kind of moment. Check the nails, check the nails. That's what I'm talking about. Painted them yesterday. Proud of the color. Okay. I'm not fixing my hair. Maybe I will. I will fix my hair. So The Jeweler. This takes place in Wales, I believe. It's kind of like an unnamed town. It centers around the main character, Mari. She is at a slightly unidentifiable age. For about the first half of the book, I thought that she was around my age, in her 20s. But once you get towards the middle, you come to realize that she's probably in her late 30s, early 40s. It follows her. She lives with her monkey, Nanu, I believe is how you pronounce the name. Kieran, tell me. I think that's how you say it. She lives with her monkey. She is a jeweler. She's fascinated with rubies and emeralds and things of that sort. What she does is she sells those items and rings and other pieces of trinkets at the local market where the townspeople sort of intermingle. That through the marketplace, you're able to come to identify other characters in the town and throughout the book. Okay, so in this marketplace, she has a dear friend, Mo. Mo and her husband run kind of this side hustle of clearing out the houses of the recently deceased. So those two narratives are going on. You have Mari selling jewels, and then you also have her clearing out the houses of the recently passed in the town, and there's this fuel that's keeping her going and clearing out things. There's this background to her that she kind of keeps shielded from the rest of the community. And what's interesting about this book is that it's written, every single chapter, they're very, very short chapters. I want to say that there's close to 50 chapters and it's like a 178-page book. But each chapter kind of cut jumps about 3 to 4 days, sometimes a week, sometimes a season. I would say that it probably encompasses about a year of time. Through each chapter, something about the characters are revealed, something about Mari is revealed, something about the monkey is revealed. So it's really interesting in the fact that it's constantly setting up these bricks to build something bigger. Oh my God, what a beautiful choice of words. And at the end, it's just like the last couple of chapters, every single chapter, something's happening. So in 2 to 3 pages, you have these momentous moments that are like, whoa, pump the brakes. I thought we were just a woman selling stuff. But no, it's a lot more than that. I briefly touched upon a little bit of the themes before, but it touches on a lot of the idea of motherhood, what exactly that definition is, what exactly that act is, the things that sort of relate to that ideology. There's parts of Mari's life that she's kept quiet for a reason. She has this intense background of guilt. She feels responsible for a lot of things that happened within the community. And it also touches on a lot of living vicariously, not exactly living for yourself, but living through the lives of people. I was actually quite shocked by a lot of the things that happened in this book. I was thinking it was like a very peaceful kind of folk tale at first, you know, something maybe a little bit funky was gonna happen. But like I said, towards the end, like the last 5 chapters, I was like, oh, another one. I'm not exactly going to give away the spoilers to it, but I do think that this is a great book to invest your time into. It's like a day worth of reading. I did think that it was pretty captivating. I thought that the way that Lewis wrote was great. I thought that it was very, very vivid. I thought that it was very moving. I thought it was very ornamental, floral, stunning. My mindset reading this was just a constant gray color though. Everything just felt gray and weighted. So if that gives you an idea of what it feels like to read this book, I gave it like 3.7 stars. I wouldn't say that it was my favorite book of all time, but I enjoyed it. I would pass this on to my friends. I wouldn't hide this from the world. I would pass this on. So I give this 3.7 stars. Kieran, you did a good job. Okay. Oleg's looking at me. Are you filming me? No. So, the next book. Yes, Daddy. You might have seen that I picked this up on the side of the road. It was not thrown out. It was put out by a bookstore. So it was a arc that they had previously read, I'm assuming, and just put it out to share the wealth with the commoners of Greenpoint, Brooklyn. So this follows Jonah. He's a 25-year-old guy. He just moved from Ohio. At the point that the book takes place, he'd been in New York for about 4 months. He was escaping a pretty traumatic past. And in his perfect world, he's going to move to New York and become a very successful playwright. Okay, that doesn't exactly work out. He becomes a waiter at this very touchy, creepy, high-end restaurant. Out of desperation and solitude, he figures that he is going to go to his favorite playwright's like movie night, and he is going to imprint himself on Richard Shriver, who is the famous playwright, and become a part of his world, which works. It totally works. He begins a relationship with this playwright. Things are beautiful. It's wonderful. He goes out to fancy restaurants. He goes to all of these openings and galas and blah, 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 blah. Everything's working out, right? Right? Sounds great. No, it does not work out that way. Shriver soon invites Jonah to the Hamptons, and that's where things get weird. Get weird. That's all I'm gonna say. It's dark. It's really dark. About like 3/4 into this book, I read in probably like 4 hours. I zoomed through it. I was really into it. And then about the last quarter of the novel, I just completely fell off the precipice of caring what was happening. I feel like it would be a pretty popular book for the summertime if it's marketed correctly. I think that there's a lot of thrillery vibes to it. It's not exactly the most difficult of language. The story is definitely pretty easy to follow, but it does have a lot of themes in it that are quite troubling, but I think if it's done correctly, this could be an incredibly successful book. Tons of trigger warnings for this book, I would say. Sexual assault, sexual abuse, pedophilia, lots of things. Just definitely heavy trigger warning going into this. What I think that the book does really well is that it carries out this theme of manipulation pretty heavily. Come to really hate some of the characters, and I think that the author does well is paints that picture of manipulation incredibly graphically. I think that's what one of the main things of this book explores. It also explores a lot of religion. It's another great depiction of class differences and what people will do to chase fame and success, and what it means to become successful. You know, how it slightly alienates people from just identifying what is truthful and what is good in life. I don't know, you know, like I said, the first 3/4 of this book I thought were really great, incredibly engaging. I was into it. But then I just felt like the author was told that he had to get the script finalized by a certain time, and he just kind of abandoned some of the characters that you had grown to identify in the beginning, and he just kind of wrote them off in a couple of clauses, and that was it. So I don't know. I mean, I think it's a good book. I thought it was entertaining. I was actually doing a little bit of research, and apparently this is going to be picked up by Amazon Studios, which totally makes sense because it is like an Amazon series sort of book. I don't know. It wasn't like a literary standout to me. It wasn't like an amazing book by any means. I didn't like, oh my God, you know, that's eye-opening and changing. That's crazy. But I thought that it was a good book. I read it really quick. I enjoyed it quite a bit. And yeah, I don't know. I feel like this is the worst documentation of me reading books that I've ever done. I gave this book 3.5 stars, by the way. I don't know. Okay, well, I'm going to get on to my next books. I'm already starting another one. I think this month I'm going to be doing all fiction, which is strange to me because I don't usually read a lot of fiction at all. But I figured I should do it because I want to get through a lot of books that I have sitting on my bookshelf, and a lot of it's fiction. What am I rattling on about? Okay, all right. Cheers, my friends. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.